For more than 2 centuries, the penny has been both the humblest and most enduring symbol of American money. It's jingled in our pockets, gathered dust in piggy banks, and outlasted empires of paper and plastic. But on November 12, 2025, after 233 years of production, the United States Mint pressed its final 1-cent coin, marking the official end of the American penny's long and complicated life. The story of the penny begins at the dawn of the nation itself. In 1792, Congress passed the Coinage Act, establishing the U.S. Mint and authorizing a range of coins, including a copper 1-cent piece. The first pennies were struck the following year. In 1793, at the Philadelphia Mint, these early coins, known as flowing hair cents, were large, nearly the size of a modern half-dollar, and made entirely of copper. Their design featured Lady Liberty on one side and a chain of 15 links on the other, representing the 15 states of the Union at the time. Through the 19th century, the penny evolved alongside the young republic. The chain design was quickly replaced by a wreath, and Liberty's image was refined several times, from the draped bust and classic head to the coronet cent. By 1857, the penny shrank to its modern size, as the price of copper made the large cents impractical. The smaller Flying Eagle cent debuted that year, followed by the Indian head cent in 1859, a design that would become iconic in its own right and remain in circulation for half a century. Then, in 1909, the penny entered its most famous era. To commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the U.S. Mint introduced the Lincoln cent, the first American coin to feature a real person. Designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner, the coin's front face featured Lincoln's profile, inspired by a Civil War-era photograph, while the reverse showed 2 wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent. The wheat penny, as it came to be known, quickly became beloved, a small tribute to the president who preserved the Union. The Lincoln penny became more than a coin. It became a piece of Americana. During World War II, when copper was needed for ammunition, the Mint briefly produced pennies made of zinc-coated steel in 1943. The silvery coins confused the public and rusted easily, so copper returned the following year. In 1959, for Lincoln's 150th birthday, the reverse design was changed to the Lincoln Memorial, keeping the president on both sides of the coin, a first in U.S. history. Then, in 2009, a series of special designs marked his bicentennial, depicting scenes from his life. The following year, the reverse changed again to the Union Shield design, symbolizing Lincoln's legacy of unity. Yet while the penny endured through wars, recessions, and redesigns, its usefulness slowly faded. Inflation eroded its value. What a penny could buy in 1909 would require more than 30 cents today. By the early 21st century, the coin had become a nuisance to many, too small to matter, too cheap to spend, and too costly to make. The Mint itself reported that it cost nearly 4 cents to produce and distribute each 1-cent coin, largely due to rising metal prices and manufacturing expenses. Despite repeated calls to eliminate it, the penny survived for decades through sheer tradition and sentiment. Polls showed most Americans wanted to keep it, arguing that prices might rise without it, or simply because it's part of who we are. Retailers, charities, and even souvenir machines helped extend its life, but as digital payments surged and cash use declined, the penny's purpose became harder to justify. By the 2020s, other countries had already moved on. Canada phased out its penny in 2013, Australia in 1992, and New Zealand in 1990. All rounded prices to the nearest 5 cents without significant inflation. On November 12, 2025, the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia struck its final batch of 1-cent coins. The last pennies were not meant for circulation, but as ceremonial keepsakes, commemorating the end of a 233-year tradition. Treasury officials cited the rising production cost, over $90 million a year, and the inefficiency of maintaining a coin with so little purchasing power. It's time, one official said, to let the penny rest. Still, its legacy will live on. Over 2 trillion pennies have been minted since 1793, enough to fill countless piggy banks and cover entire highways. Its coppery sheen, whether bright and new or dulled by decades of use, has touched nearly every American hand. It has been pressed into good luck charms, tossed into fountains, and saved for a rainy day. For generations, it served as a child's first lesson in money, proof that even the smallest denomination had worth. The end of the penny marks more than the death of a coin. It's the quiet close of an era in which cash ruled everyday life. when we measured value in coins we could hold and count. As the US moves further into a digital economy, the penny's disappearance feels both inevitable and bittersweet. A small but symbolic farewell to a tangible piece of history. So the next time you find a penny on the sidewalk, pick it up. It might be one of the last reminders of a time now quietly past. Thank you everybody for watching the video. If you enjoyed this content, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'd really appreciate the support.